So we've got some more unexpected Vancouver Canucks related news today. Because not only did Patrik Allvin make shockwaves throughout both the NHL and the province of British Columbia by trading for Evander Kane this morning, but we also had ourselves some commentary made by him. Patrik Allvin's recent press conference earlier this afternoon goes out there and talks about the Canucks acquisition of Kane. And we also had ourselves another update in regards to some potential signing talk. Let's dive into the signing stuff first, because I think this is a little bit less juicy than the recent Evander Kane trade. But take a look at what Darren Dreger went out there and spoke about on TSN 1050 earlier this morning. He said, "It does sound like progress has been made on a multi-year extension for Thatcher Demko with the Canucks. An extension is far more likely than a trade at this point." Further to NHL Rumor Report's report, you had Rick Dhaliwal going out there and responding to this idea, saying that there is a pathway to a Thatcher Demko extension in Vancouver by the end of the week. It's not done, but there is a pathway there. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, the Vancouver Canucks could be on the cusp of the final days of Arturs Silovs' tenure in this organization. And I say that with the assumption that the Vancouver Canucks do not want to go with a 3-goalie rotation for next season. They already signed Kevin Lankinen. They already got him on the books for the next little while here. And Thatcher Demko being in a spot where his contract was expiring too, that was always going to be a point of contention. Do the Canucks go with Lankinen and Silovs, who has been very good in the Abbotsford Canucks run, who was the playoff MVP, and who really demonstrated a lot of value? That first D right there in the Dennis system, Arturs Silovs did all of that. But the question was, could you roll with a tandem of Lankinen and Silovs if you wanted to be a competitive playoff contention, or a cup contention even, caliber team? I think most folks would generally agree that Arturs Silovs and Lankinen haven't established themselves enough to fully get that confidence. And for Thatcher Demko, it's been more of an issue of him staying healthy than anything. But with this idea in mind, that Vancouver's bringing back Thatcher Demko, it does fully bleed into their goaltending being the best that it could be heading into the next little while. Demko and Lankinen are a fantastic duo. It's one of probably the best 5 duos in the NHL, maybe even its top 3. I honestly have a hard time naming any ones that are better. Stolarz and Wall was pretty good. I digress. They're very good together. And for Arturs Silovs, unless the Canucks are so intent on going on a triple goalie rotation, they have no reason to have him in the NHL. And he has waivers now. So this is going to be an opportunity for every NHL team to either get Silovs for free if the Canucks place him on waivers, or make a trade, try to get this guy, and give him an NHL backup position elsewhere. There's gotta be at least one NHL team that's gonna be interested in acquiring an Arturs Silovs-like asset, but with the Vancouver Canucks being on the cusp of signing Thatcher Demko, it seems like that may be the only choice, won't it? Now, speaking out about Vancouver-related things, let's dive into some commentary made by Patrik Allvin after the press conference that he had just done post-Evander Kane trade. Now, I will say he did go out there and say that he thinks that Evander Kane will probably talk to the media tomorrow, something like that. They're going to try to get him in, but this is the Patrik Allvin presser as posted by the Vancouver Canucks on their website. Big shout out over to my buddy Chris Faber who had this. Patrik Allvin discusses the Evander Kane trade, Abbotsford Canucks Calder Cup win, and his team's first-round pick in the upcoming NHL Draft. Allvin began by speaking on the trade from earlier in the day. Every team is looking to be harder to play against, and for us, with the group that we have here, when a player like this becomes available at this cost, we felt we have a chance to upgrade our top 9 and middle 6 and become a harder team to play against, said Allvin. $5 million a year, 1 year. Yeah, it's not ideal. But for a 4th round pick, a guy who could probably, I'd say if he is healthy, is probably going to be able to get 20 goals on the season at the least, and a guy who really does improve the winger depth of the Vancouver Canucks. Say what you want, as much as you want, about off-ice issues, about his history, about the problems he has had in the past. There are a list of them. But from an on-ice perspective, in terms of the team getting better, I think that Evander Kane is better than a 4th round pick for the Vancouver Canucks in 2025-2026. I mean, hot take. There are some Oilers fans that have gone out there and spoke out about the consistency. Look, it's Justin said this on the Canucks subreddit. Oilers fan here. Kane will almost certainly start hot for the Canucks. He likes a new team and a fresh start. It's once he gets comfortable that he seems to begin making questionable decisions and taking liberties. Another comment goes out there and says, has there been any bad Kane publicity recently? He seemed well liked in Edmonton. Oilers fan here again. He was quite indeed well liked in Edmonton. He's more or less shed the bad guy off-ice persona whilst he was here. He was active in the community too. That said, he carries an on-ice reputation. He will take penalty calls just because he is Evander Kane, so be prepared for that. There is just something inside me that says, no matter how much Canucks fans disagree with and hate this move, the moment Evander Kane stands up for Elias Pettersson and rocks a guy's socks off because he went after Petey, and the moment Evander Kane gets a hat trick where Pettersson gets his 4th assist of the game, at that point I think the trade will be a lot easier to stomach for a good chunk of Vancouver Canucks fans. Now, Patrik Allvin did speak out about a whole bunch of other stuff here. This is what he said about the experience that Kane has. He's one of those guys that you hate to play against, and you love to have him on your own team, said Allvin, as he added that head coach Adam Foote was also included in the process of acquiring Kane. So I guess if Adam Foote is sitting in there and saying, yeah, I kind of want to get that guy on my team too, not to mention the fact that there were 3-4+ teams that were also interested in acquiring this player, only for him to say, yeah, no, I want to go to Vancouver, and allowing the Canucks to get him for only a 4th round pick. I mean, I saw the tea leaves, folks. When the Evander Kane trade was initially announced and Elliot Friedman made that report, oh, Evander Kane's going to Vancouver, folks were like, oh, is Thatcher Demko going to Edmonton? Niels Höglander, bye-bye? Like, bruh, is that really the price that people were thinking that was going to be paid for Evander Kane? He was a 4th round pick. It's a 4th round pick. I get that there is a big concern about salary cap space, $5.125 million, it's not necessarily cheap, but if this guy goes out there and scores 20 goals, then that really is the pure, true and true Brock Boeser replacement, for a lot less money. You're going to have to do the entire same song and dance next year that you did with Boeser with Evander Kane. I'm just more of the mindset that Kane probably has a higher likelihood of making some sort of a hometown discount go through. And furthermore, this is what Patrik Allvin spoke out about in regards to any sort of a long-term future. Take a look at this tweet made by Thomas Drance. The past is the past, said Patrik Allvin of Evander Kane, who notes that in his estimation, Kane has matured the past few years in Edmonton. This gives us and gives him the opportunity to see if this is a long-term fit. He also adds that he's hoping it is. We spoke about this in the video earlier this morning. Edmonton reporters have been very positive in talking about the impact Evander Kane had on and off the ice. It doesn't seem like those issues that were problems years ago are still there. I understand why people are concerned about it. It's just, I think being concerned to this magnitude is maybe a little bit misguided by what happened in the far past compared to what happened in the short-term past, if that makes sense. So I'm willing to give it a try. I think as long as he's healthy, he'll be a pretty good ad for the Vancouver Canucks. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Patrik Allvin's commentary on the matter, as well as the updates that Thatcher Demko could probably, or is probably, going to re-sign now. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.